Hello everyone, thank you for joining us tonight at this beautiful Entract 127 space in the heart of Sofia, and also for all of us watching us online. Today we are going to talk about perks at work and can they lead to a strong company culture or not at all? So this is the second event of our monthly after hours series that we do together, that we started together with BICA services in order to explore everything there is to know about tech talent, IT career development, and company culture. So thanks to the kind support of our sponsors and partners at BICA Services and Dreamix, tonight we are going to demystify everything there is to know about employee benefits and company culture. Because who doesn't want to have like a Pizza Friday or free gym membership or, I don't know, unlimited vacation time?
Mainly.
I'm Zornica Stilva, I'm the editor at the Recursive, and to be honest, because I've been coming from an industry that doesn't know any perks, I mean, if you have a free coffee at the office, that you're lucky. So I'm really curious to talk with our company culture experts tonight on the panel about what really makes employees happy at work, and how can companies also attract the best talent while also creating a positive and healthy working environment. So without further ado, let me present you our panelists. Teodora Lazarova is Chief People Officer at Anthill. This is a Sofia-based company that provides product IT teams with R&D solutions. She's also an Associate Professor at the University of Finance, Business, Entrepreneurship and Innovation in Sofia. Okay, Stoyan Mitov is the new CEO at the product development company Dreamix. He recently took on this role, and before that he was leading the business development and product development of the company, right? Before this position, you led the Dreamix talents and culture team. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And Mina Kostova is Chief People Officer at Sportal Media Group and co-founder of the digital mentoring platform smalltalk.bg. Mina works with people from various positions in the IT field and the digital media also field, and she likes taking care of people, as far as I know.
True.
Okay, so before we kick off the discussion, I want to invite our audience to ask as many questions as you like. There will be a Q&A session at the end of our discussion. And for people watching us online, you can place your questions in the comment section in our Facebook live stream, which you're watching with the help of our friends from Launchee. Hello, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you all. Okay, so let's talk about culture. Maybe let's sync up first on what culture means in the context of a tech company. Teodora, you've been working with a lot of tech companies. What would you say are the pillars of a strong company culture? How can we recognize that there is one in place?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I've been thinking about like building a culture, and it was a like manager task for me in each company to build the company culture. Somehow it's like you are build a building, but for me really the culture are the people. It's like it's a process. It's a life thing, and it's changing. It's not something static. You are not just building something and this is forever. So I believe this is something that is very helpful and useful if we start thinking about this in the beginning. And of course there are some common things, and there are some beliefs, like if you can observe loyalty of the people, this is something that it's really attract them. But because I spent many years in investigating company culture motivation, and I can really assure you that all the people, they just say that they have different motivational factors staying in the company. So even if you investigate within your own company, you'll have maybe 15 different factors and items.
So if I ask a company employee, what is our company culture?
Yes.
You will get 15 different
Of
answers.
course,
Okay.
always, because everyone is just seeing the things through their, inner world, and they're finding those pieces who are just important for them.
So when you say the company culture are the people, you mean the environment they create working together?
The environment they create, their own beliefs, like, their, core motivational factors. It could be everything. It could be the fancy coffee machine in the office. It could be, the events that the company is organizing, for example. It could be the ability to have flexible working hours, picking up your kids, or, going to the school and that kind of stuff. It could be everything, and you have all of those answers in the end, which is quite interesting for me.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stoyan, what is your vision for the company culture of Dreamix going forward now that you are in the CEO shoes?
Yes, so first of all, it's very important, in my opinion, that the CEO in the company was chosen internally. So it was not someone that was brought from outside, someone who is new to the company and doesn't feel and doesn't know the culture and haven't been through the ups and downs of the company, and this person should embody the culture in order to speak about the culture. And in my opinion, also the people are the culture, and but these people are different. So that's why I don't believe that there are good and bad cultures. There are different type of cultures, and if you want to build a certain type of culture, the people are the key. So you have to hire people based on certain criteria in order to have certain type of culture, certain culture that is based on values. But it should be not just these nice words, the values that everyone sees, or that there are posters on the walls, and that let's say the people that are recruiting or the HRs are speaking about. But these values must be something that are proven by the deeds inside of the company. So the actions of the company, these actions make the culture, because everyone can say, okay, we have a great culture, but how do you say that? What do you measure? Do you measure the retention rate? Do you measure certain activities that are taken by the employees inside of the company? Do you measure something else? And in my opinion, in order to say that you have a good culture, first of all, you should be clear what is the culture for you. And then, in order to have this culture, it's the actions, it's not the words. It's not what you say, it's what you do. So the deeds and the activities are the key factor in making a certain type of culture. Because just to give you an example, some companies may say, we want our people to be proactive. For example, okay, in the service sector, it's super important the people to be proactive, not to just solve whatever they're given, but to proactively solve challenges and to give suggestions, improvements, and so on. So if you want to build that, what are the actions that you have to monitor in order to say that this is happening? Okay, you should have examples to show to the people or to the management or to whoever you want to show in order to say that we are proactive. Okay, you have to have the deeds that are happening inside of the organization in order to say this purpose, this nice fancy word, So the actions are the key, in my opinion.
Okay. Mina, what do you think? How are things in Sportal?
I agree both on Stoyan and Theodora's opinion. For me, culture is about something that you can feel but you cannot see. It's more like it's about the communication between people. It's the communication between leaders and the part of the team. It's about beliefs, values. And I'll give my personal example about that. As you said, I recently joined Sportal, and there are a lot of companies in the group. We have like media, we have IT companies, we have digital marketing company. And my approach when I joined the company was, okay, I have to feel the culture here, and I have to understand what people want. And then I decided to spend some weeks in every company. And it's really interesting when you go into one room with a team, you can feel what is in it. You can understand what is the communication and the culture in the team. It's not written down. It's in the air. And my experience was really interesting, how you can see the culture and feel it even it's not written down.
I really like that you mentioned the communication between the leaders of the company and how this can also shape up the culture in a way. How should they behave between each other to create a positive vibe, let's say, in the environment?
What I can say also as an example, and also from my personal experience, is, for example, as I told you, we have like different companies, and each company has their senior manager, and every company is different, and it's because of the senior management in it. It's because of the leaders. For example, one leader has this skill set, and they transfer this to the team, and others have different things. It really depends on the people that are leaders, and the part of the organizations.
Okay, but tell me, why is it so easy to mistake perks that we often, I don't know, let's say organizing events or having a free breakfast or things like that for a company culture? And how can you tell the difference, Teodora?
How we can tell the difference? Well, I mean, like, this is a very, huge topic. I have a lot of, examples and funny stories regarding all the perks, starting with the breakfast and the complaints of people. What kind of breakfast do we have? We have some, opposite groups claiming why we have banitsa, and the others say why we don't have a healthy food. We are training really hard. So we had all of these arguments in between. They're just coming to the HR room like with those requirements, and I'm like, guys, seriously, I mean, is this really the most important thing, discussing the breakfast and like the variety of it and that kind of stuff. And again, it's really, I want just to refer to what you said and started, like there are really still in Bulgaria companies and sectors in which you really don't have perks.
Yes.
Of course, and there, so many, you have like free coffee or free water and that's it. And meanwhile, you have the IT sector, for example, when you have even more than 30 to 50 perks like in a different companies. And again, there are still people who are working in those companies without any perks. So there is something which is attracting them. And this exactly is the culture.
Okay, so
and this exactly is the the relationship between the people. And I truly believe that one of the most important things is the the value of your job. The idea of what exactly are you doing? Are you doing something which is quite interesting for you? Are you doing something which will impact the society? So this is more than just the perks. If you have a gym membership or whatever, because otherwise we are not going to have any other sectors than the IT, because it's like, it's a very, interesting trend.
Okay, but let's say, Stoyan, you're hiring right now and you want to hire a proactive person and you want to know on the interview that this is a person you're looking for. Are they going to ask you about those things on the interview, about the perks?
So if I want to understand whether someone is proactive, I have certain questions that I ask, and I want to see certain examples from this person in order to be able to say whether this person is proactive or not. Because everyone can say that he or she is proactive, but if there is nothing that he or she can show, and to prove that this person is not proactive. But about the perks, what I cannot hear is that if you think that you're gonna improve the retention rate or the culture just by adding perks, this is bullshit, because the perks are never enough. If you go into this spiral about talking only about perks, not about the values, about the work that you do, about the impact that you have, about the thing that you're building that is more than you as a single contributor, that you are part of a team, of a company that is bigger than yourself, then I think you're going into the very wrong direction, So the perks are necessary because, in my opinion, perks cannot motivate, but they can demotivate if they are missing. However, there is certain limit of perks that if they are covered, everything above that is, if you speak about it, it's not worth it, in my opinion. Because nowadays you cannot beat anyone on perks, let's say, especially the big corporations or whatever, but you can be unique in what you do, on the values that you have, on the culture that you have built, and with the people that you have selected to be part of the team that you are working with. And this is making the difference, not the perks.
Mina, do you get asked in interviews about perks?
Yeah,
People care about this. But what kind of perks? I'm curious to know.
Maybe, I don't know. It's super weird questions, if I have to be honest. But here, you touch on something really interesting about the recruitment, HR, and perks. In my opinion, maybe a lot of people will argue with me. I believe that now perks are recruitment tool. And this is it's something wrong with that. I believe that perks should enhance the culture. Not we should convince people to join the company because we have like a free breakfast, free drink in the morning and stuff like that. It should be, we should use it internally, not externally. I don't like selling each other because we have like super cool stuff like table tennis and things like that. It's just what I think about. It's more like we should have it internally, and then we should develop our employees, not so much talking about that in front of the recruitment in the recruitment process.
Okay, but if you want to attract this very talented person and you want to tell them why they should work for you, for your company, what would you tell them that will sort of be an example of the culture in place?
Definitely the perks will be the last thing.
Of course.
Okay, but give me an example, please.
Yeah, it's about project, it's about the team, the leadership, what you're going to do, your career development, the future plans of the company, maybe, and how you position yourself. It's like, even in my interviews, I don't mention perks.
Okay. Stoyan, you want to add something, I feel?
I mean, if this is a very talented person that is great in what he's doing or she's doing, normally these people don't ask about perks, in my opinion.
Okay.
They never ask about this thing because for them this is the least important. What they ask mostly is about the team that he gonna be part of. Is there someone who can learn from, this guy can learn from, these type of things that are most important. The perks are an additional benefit, something good to have, but it's not the essence, you know.
Yeah, and if I can add here, junior people, for example, are people that can be attracted with perks.
Yeah.
But when we are talking with senior people, no one wants to know if there is free breakfast. They want to know about the project, about the people that they want and work with.
Okay, so young people care more about the perks.
I think so. Maybe those who are entering the industry,
Yeah.
because it looks fancy.
Yeah.
It looks flashy. So I will join this company because they have this and this and this.
But still, in which cases or which perks in particular can lead or can create to a, I don't know, better working environment? Are there any such examples in your opinion?
I really believe that there are not like particular perks, like let's say we have this and this. I just was thinking now about, again, the meaning of work. Especially here in Bulgaria, we have many companies, and we are part of the companies who are really developing like the future and the world. And it's not something that is just a cliche, because in our companies, for example, we are developing the software for the car industry, you know, for all the, and you can feel it and touch it, and it's great when you have participation in such a projects, because you can really see your impact on everything. Like you are developing a software for, you know, the different, you know, stuff at home. You are doing smart homes, and after that you are coming back home, you have a fancy, you know, fridge, and you know that you've been part of this project. And again, I can refer to this, that senior people, they really never ask about the perks. Like they just think that this is for granted now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the industry just came there where all the people just say, oh, it's normal to have additional health insurance, multi-sport card. They're not even expecting that we are not providing it.
Okay.
So like all the companies now, we know that we need to have the basis, and there are a couple of perks like that which are not even evaluated as a perks anymore.
Okay. I was going to ask actually about the additional health insurance, because this is not really a perk but a benefit that it's important for everyone, and I believe that everyone should be asking about that, especially in our healthcare system in the country. But what about, let's say, some family care packages? Is this something that people ask for when we talk about seniors and juniors and the difference between them?
Again, we had a survey in our previous company in which we asked what kind of entity do you want to open here, gym or kindergarten, and guess what, we have 50-50 now, and like the people said we want a gym, the other people said we are really interested in a kindergarten care. So it's never enough. You cannot satisfy all the people, because again they don't have the same needs.
Yeah, indeed.
They don't have the same needs. Most of the people said we don't even have kids, we are not interested in a kindergarten entity here. The others say, oh, lovely idea. So again, it depends. This is the culture, what is interesting about the culture. You cannot just take one culture and just refer it to the other company, because most of the people, they're just aiming to be Google. We cannot be Google due to a different reason, even a cultural one. So they're trying just to implement this culture just like that. You really need to see and to feel the vibe of your organization, what the people really need and ask for. And again, it could be different each year. So you need to be ready just to to switch and change.
Okay. Stoyan, what do you think are the necessary perks, though, in order to have a good environment in the team?
In my opinion, this is different for
your company. Yeah.
And the perks, if we speak about the meaningful perks,
yes,
they should be aligned with the vision and the values that you have. So, for example, if you're speaking that the people are the company, that it doesn't matter whether you're a junior or the CEO, because both of you have connection with the client, you're speaking both with the client, the performance of both is important for the success of your business, then you have to provide perks that are proving this. So in this case, the perks should be something like profit sharing, option pool, whatever, So, but if you wanna build like maybe a family organization where the families are the nucleus of the company, then you may speak about having a kindergarten or whatever, So it depends about the values that you have and the vision that you have and what you want to achieve, and then the perks can invigorate these things, and you have to be very careful about the perks that you are putting, because these perks should invigorate the things that you want to get. That's the whole point.
Okay, what are the meaningful perks for you, Mina?
This baseline, maybe, when we have like health insurance, multi-sport, and some other. But follow up on what Theodora and Stoyan said, it really depends on the employee age, because some people at young age, they want one type of perks, and when we are talking with parents in the company, they are more focused on other. So maybe the flexibility in here, it's really will be beneficial to the employees.
Okay, let's talk vice versa. What are the perks that, in your opinion, create very negative or can be counterproductive to actually making people feel good at their job?
Toxic work environment, in my opinion. Definitely. Again, there are many factors leading to this, but the lack of transparency in the organization is my big no. If I need to choose a company, for me it's quite important to have this culture of transparency when people communicate, the managers communicate freely, like we have this, but we have this problem, so we would like to, for example, when we hire people, we are very transparent within the process, because it's quite important. Those people, when they come to the company, they're not going to be unsatisfied in the first 3 months. It's not about, for example, it's not about just to sell the company, just, to make it, pinky and shiny and amazing, and when the employee start working with us to be disappointed. No, we are just, stating like all of the problems, all of the good things that we already did. So it's quite important. So I'm not really sure that there is a perk, like a tool, which is really bad. But for me, again, the toxic work environment, which is, again.
Okay, Stoyan, can you give an example where, for example, a particular perk can create, I don't know, conflicts between colleagues or more problems than it was actually aimed for?
I will answer it in a different way. I cannot give like a particular perk that can create that. However, in my opinion, what may happen in a bad way is that if you just say yes to everything or no to everything without being transparent on how you choose what to add as a perk or what to select as a perk and what not. So in my opinion, this is something that is not okay, because for example, if someone asks, okay, give me a, I don't know, something that I can put my stem cells, to, I don't know, preserve them, and you say yes, but at the other end someone else says, okay, give me that, something else, and you say no, what's the reasoning behind this too? This should be very important when you choose to add something new to the perks or to remove even something. You should be very transparent, clear, and with, because in the engineers, they are very logical, so you have to give the reasons behind the decision and they will understand it. But if you don't, if you're not transparent, if you don't give reasons about things that you are doing, this can create a bad environment, let's say, because someone may take it personal or whatever. So
you took my banitsa away
of course.
every morning.
Whatever,
You're a
yeah.
bad boss.
So my point is that you have to be transparent and really to give the reason why you do something and why not something else.
Okay. Mina, what do you think destroys a productivity or makes people lose motivation at work?
Of course, there are a lot of perks that can enhance productivity and can enhance the team communication. But when it comes to perks that demotivate, I would answer the same as Jan, because what I think that there should be boundaries. Like at the end of the day, we are working. At the end of the day, we are in the office. It's nice to have these perks, but still we have to make the boundaries between things, because we need to be productive. We need to create any project or some project. So I think that there should be boundaries. As Jan said, we should be transparent to say no to things and yes to other things that they are relevant to the culture and to the particular company.
I'm also curious to know whether things have changed because of the pandemic. We see this big trend of great resignation, sweeping throughout the world, changing companies and their paths of development because people realize that they don't want to be at this job anymore. They want to do something else. I'm curious have you seen this here in Bulgaria, and in what ways did it manifest itself, let's say?
Well, let's say first that when you have such extraordinary times like a pandemic we never had before, I never ever believed that I will see all of those, famous world squares without no people on them. It's like I can't believe that I'm really observing and watching this in my life. I mean, I know that we're living in an interesting times, but more than interesting. So about big trend, this big world trend, it's simple. When you just urge this sense of fear, people, of course, will choose to leave, to find a safe place, to stay at home. You see that this trend when a lot of people, they just left the bigger cities, they moved to small villages, they lived with their parents, with other people. So they need this community in order just to feel safe and secure, which is normal. And again, the good thing, if there is a good thing about this pandemic, it's this trend is like we've been going and going for the years, but they just realize, especially in some countries like, for example, in United States, in some Western countries, you cannot just leave and drive to work. This is not the life. You are not just, living because of that, just to stay in a cubicle for like 10 hours, driving away 2 hours and just feel the same. I'm talking to, a lot of colleagues worldwide, and they're just saying, I'm more than happy that I can work from home and I will never come back to the office. Talking even for, again, for like bigger cities when you have to travel 2 hours or something.
But did you recognize, Stoyan and Mina, maybe a question for you, did you recognize new needs emerging, so to say, in what people ask from their employers because of the pandemic and because of how it reshuffled their lives?
What I noticed from my personal experience is that people they're more brave. They're braver. I mean, now they want to do something that they like, and they're going to transfer their skill set in other area, and they're super okay for them. For example, we have like a person who is working in the bank industry for 10 years. In the pandemic, we see this trend that this person is going forward and say, okay, I'm not happy with this job. I don't want to stay here. I don't earn money. I don't feel valued. I'm not in a good team. I want to do something else. And what they do, they start any courses, or they're applying for different jobs because they have other skills. And for me, this is amazing because, in my opinion, I'm a person who loves her job, and I believe that everyone should do that. And it's difficult, it's not an easy job, but if you find what you love, you'll be more productive, you'll be better at your job. And this trend is really good for us, for what we see, and for the employment as a whole.
But I also feel that there has been a bit more awareness, let's say, about mental health issues and problems you're experiencing and how you're dealing with that. There have been companies, even here in Bulgaria, who have offered, psychological help or consultancies with psychologists and other kind of experts to help people go through this stage. So I'm curious whether you have noticed this as well, Stoyan.
Yes, so let me just answer the previous one. So for me, the COVID thing created not only challenges but opportunities, because for the companies that are really well run and that are with good culture, it creates more opportunities than challenges. For the rest that are not well run and are just doing something because there was something and the business was fine, the conditions were, economically was okay, it was devastating. So for the companies with good cultures, it created a lot of opportunities. And then answering your question now, the culture now is even more important because of this that you mentioned, because these mental challenges, health challenges, if you work in an environment that you cherish and that you believe in, and with the people that you trust, and in an environment where you feel safe, and in an environment where you feel that you are growing, improving, that you are contributing to something more meaningful, something impactful than just being a single contributor somewhere else, this also helps you address these mental challenges, mental issues that you may, face because of the pandemic situation. So that's why I'm saying that the culture should be the backbone of an organization, in my opinion. And having this backbone, having this strong culture where the people feel valued, cherished, safe, and working with peers that they trust and believe in, it also addresses these challenges. And in these cultures and in this environment, these people will feel a lot less stress, and will, let's say, this will lead to a lot less burnouts or whatever. This is what I believe in, frankly, and this is what I have seen also.
So the great resignation, in a way, was not only because of people realizing or people facing the pandemic, but also because they realize they're in a place where the culture doesn't fit them in a way, or maybe it's making them unhappy?
Yeah, I do believe that the pandemic just boosted this
Mm.
trend. It was something that we
Was
feel.
brewing.
Yeah. We feel it even before. People start complaining about different things. Because that we're working in a very dynamic environment, so it was just a matter of time to happen. So just the pandemic, and again, the good thing about the pandemic, it's like a lot of sectors they had to be, start working smarter, had better automatization, and have set in place better working processes. Because I can really agree here with Stoyan, in companies like when, especially in the IT sector, when you have a self-driven people, you don't really feel that there is something bad within the company. The work is just going through the a normal model. For example, in the university we just move all the process online for 1 week. So everything was really okay. We had all the classes, we've been teaching online for 2.5 years. So this semester will be the first one that we are, facing the students. But again, uncertain times, uncertain decisions, and, everything we need to adapt, all of us. But it's like we need to work smarter, in my opinion, because, we're going to face any other challenges in the future. It's not only the pandemic.
Yeah, talking about uncertain times, now we have the war, and we also have, the rising inflation.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how is this also affecting people? Like, do they become more sensitive to things like free breakfast, let's say? Do they become more sensitive to perks that are in a way connected with them saving some money, let's say, or saving some expenses that they have? I know that this particular industry is not so much affected as others, but still maybe people are a bit worried about what's coming.
For me? Okay.
Yeah, both of you.
I do believe that people are sensitive to this topic, and currently people start talking about that. They want increase in their salary most of the time. They are not focusing on perks. For them, the most important thing is because they are feeling valued, not valued, but they are feeling good in the workplace. So what they want to see is more like performance review, let's say, or the change to be on the salary, not the perks. What in my experience, and if you're a good employer and team leader, you have to predict that, and in some way to act on that before they come to you, I believe.
Stoyan, what do you think? Like in an economic downturn, let's say, how do you lead people to believe that it's going to be all right? We're going to power through challenges if they come.
I will answer again as before. It creates also opportunities, not only challenges, because for the companies that are well run, that are investing in operational excellence, in things that are making the process transparent, the process to provide higher value to the clients. Because when the market is going only upwards, everyone can create a company and everyone can be successful. The real thing is to go through ups and downs and still be successful. And when you go through ups and downs, and when you invest in the smart things that make your organization really, how to say, well run, successful, and so on, then this creates an amazing opportunity for this type of companies. So in my opinion, this creates opportunities. Of course, the inflation and everything also pushes the company to pay more. And that's why also these companies should invest heavily in things like operational excellence and so on, so that they can not go with the stream, but do more in order to get more, And this is super important. And in my opinion, it creates opportunities too, because it pushes the people in the company, everyone in the company, to think critically about what they can do more in order to achieve more and to go through this in a better position than even before. As I mentioned, when everything is running well, then you just even go in a mode that is a bit more, how to say,
boring.
Not boring, but in a way that you are a bit more, I don't know, you may just, relax too much which is not also good.
Okay, yeah, you have to feel a
Some
healthy
pressure.
stress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
healthy stress. Yeah, I'm not saying too much stress, but there is a healthy dose of
Mhm.
stress that is pushing you forward.
Yeah, indeed. But Theodora, do you feel like people are becoming more sensitive towards
More sensitive,
salaries and
yeah, they are becoming, overall. But again, I totally agree with like both of them. First of all, as an employer, you need to be proactive. You need to feel in advance about all of those like challenges. There are, of course, very simple tools like you can increase, for example, all salaries with the rates of the inflation. So it's something that it's easy to do. But again, I think that the relationship between employer and employee, it's a long-term relationship. It's like your personal life. You need a partner. So we need definitely to build a sense of security between each other, because, for example, you share with us that you've been working for many years in a company. Imagine you can go for different things. You can get married, you can be divorced, you can have kids. Again, within this company. So again, you need to have this sense of security, feel appreciated, to have the ability to, to have the career growth and development. Because again, we are human beings. We need like really a meaning in our work. Like nobody like just going to work without just, completing 10 tasks, going home and like going to sleep without like any goal. Everyone is goal oriented. This is what is our, main drive. That's how all the humanity is developing.
I like
No.
that you are touching upon the topic of what really drives people to be happy at work, to be what really drives job satisfaction, let's say. So you mentioned goal, or people are goal oriented. They want to achieve their goals. They want to feel that they're contributing in a way to doing meaningful work. Stoyan, what would you add to this mix of what drives people job satisfaction?
So different people are driven by different things. So as I mentioned, it's very important who you hire, so you have alignment on the people that are part of your organization, on what drives them forward, So once you hire the right talent and once you have this alignment on the vision and everything, in my opinion, what drives the people is, as was previously mentioned, that they are growing and improving, but not only that they are growing as single individuals, but their team is also growing and improving. That they can also have an impact on the growth of someone else, on contributing to something bigger. That their organization is also growing. They want to feel as part of an organization that is successful. They don't want to waste 2 or 3 years in something that is not even released or is going in the trash bin or something. They want to feel as part of something meaningful, because this is, I know, your life. You don't want to spend the time working hard on something that is not, successful. So, and the best way to figure out whether something might be successful is to look around the people, that is working with you. So as I mentioned again, the people are the key. And the culture is the thing that is aligning these people, and the culture is the thing that is selecting these people to be part of the thing that you are going together with. Because just to mention, if let's say that the company is a boat, a small boat, then it becomes a yacht, then it becomes a cruiser, whatever, something bigger. But in order to go through these phases, you are going through different seas and even oceans. But in this journey, there are, heavy winds that are making challenging times for this boat to survive. And if it is the CEO or just the founders or just the executives that are thinking about how to survive or how to improve, it's not the entire crew, this will never happen in the long term. It may happen for several years, but a successful organization is never been built by a single person, even 2 or 3. It's the entire team that is part of this organization.
You touch upon a very interesting topic, how a company culture changes with the growth stages of the company. What do you think, Mina, affects that, and how do you manage that as a leader?
I would like to
Yeah,
add also
sure.
the previous topic, because everyone should answer themselves about this question: what is job satisfaction for us. And I believe a lot of people will answer culture first of all. After that, we have like communication between the teams, between people inside. We have leaderships as well, and we have development. I believe this is like core pillars to what job satisfaction is. And about trust, about the, for example, in Sportal, we're experiencing this currently.
Growing quickly.
Growing really quickly. Yeah, we are part of Ringier, which is at Ringier Sports Media. We are going to manage the sports media all into Europe and Africa, and it's really interesting because we all grow together in that. But what I love to see about our employees is that they want to be part of that, and they want to learn, and they're becoming more and more proactive, which is really nice to see.
What about marrying two different company cultures now that you are part of a bigger European network?
What is to be, sorry?
What about marrying both of the cultures, the one that you had before and the one that you have after the acquisition?
In our case, we have the opportunity to have our own culture because our CEO stays in it, so we don't have this merger. So in the culture, so we'll stay with the same culture.
You just add maybe new values or
like more like opportunities, and we are going to manage through our values.
Okay. Stoyan, what do you think changed in your company culture? Because you've been with the company for almost 10 years now. I'm sure it has changed in a way. What would you say is the biggest change maybe?
Yes, so I will answer it also a bit differently. So when I joined the company, we were like 15 people. Now we are nearly 200 people. The plan is next year to be 300 people. So in the last 5 years, we are growing on average 60% per year revenue-wise. This year it's 80% revenue-wise. But if you speak just with these numbers, it's bullshit. And I will tell you why. Because the growth should have some meaning. You know, it should not be just the numbers, meaning the money or whatever. Money are important, of course. When you grow, you are more stable. Then you can pay higher salaries due to the inflation, whatever. But the real reason for the growth is different, and it is something else. As I mentioned, first, the growth makes you more stable. Second, it creates a lot more opportunities for the people inside of the organization. It creates different positions. For example, in a tech company, if you are a 50-person company, you have a CTO and he is the head of the entire delivery. But when you are 200 people company, then you have 5 CTOs even, you know, a CTO team even, you know, and this creates the opportunity for the people inside. Also, in most of the, in most of the businesses, when you are becoming bigger, it creates also more business opportunities, because there are certain organizations that don't want to work with someone that is, I don't know, having 5-6 million level of revenue, because for them this is unstable, you know, and if they invest in the relationship, if you went broke, what is happening? So you have to have the reasons, and the last one, which is driving me really, is that it makes it interesting. Because when you grow, then it creates so many different things that you have never faced, but you have to face and figure out the solution. But not you, the team has to face this and to figure out the solution. And this is also making it interesting and meaningful. And as I mentioned, it's important for everyone to feel as part of a successful organization, team, or whatever. Not to waste your time.
I sense that you like challenges in Dreamix.
But this drives us forward, you know.
Yeah. Theodora, in your opinion, you know, when you are growing, when a company is growing too fast, hiring so many people, how do you manage this in order to get the new people on board with the values, with what the company culture is? How do you do that? How do you lead
You
this process?
can't really teach values to someone.
Yeah.
Like how you teach values. Like we are following this, and that. How is this is teach? For example, we are following, open communication. How? So I truly believe by leading by example. So in a best case scenario, you are going to have a core of a leadership team. And again, they will lead by example. So those people, they will just adopt this culture. And again, I like having more and more people within organization because like that organization is changing. They're bringing, new impact, fresh brain, fresh ideas. And it's amazing because otherwise, for example, if we stay together for 10 years, we'll be stuck. I mean, we'll be very productive maybe the first 1 or 2 years, but if we are not adding more, people within our company, we are going to be stuck and we are going to be at the same stage. So this is a necessary growth, to building teams, to growing up the company. And I truly believe that this is like what the company is established for, developing. And again, so it's very sensitive, and Mina already mentioned it, you can feel it, and that's why it's so difficult to measure it, to do a multi-factor analysis of the company culture. There is again many things that you cannot really teach people. It's something that you are teaching during the onboarding process. For example, you are just showing people that you have your company rituals. For example, we are drinking coffee each morning at 9. Everyone is coming, someone is late, and you are just learning by practice that, for example, Zori is coming late with 30 minutes every morning because she's not a good driver or whatever. But there is someone who is coming, 30 minutes before 9 because they have kids, and you will start building by nature this culture. People will start talking, communicate, building their own relationship. You cannot really manage this process, but you can build like at least the first pillar and just give them, the floor, to develop.
I really like this about the company rituals. Can you share maybe do you have any company rituals that are really showing what is the culture inside
Drinking
your
coffee.
organization? Drinking coffee together.
Or maybe wine.
What about
wine better?
What about the times when you're online or you have to be online because, I don't know, there is a pandemic, there is another close-up?
But answering your question, I would say for us is sport. Sport is something that everyone is gathering. We love to watch sports. Our business is sport, so this is our ritual, like watching Chelsea and Manchester United, or I don't know, like tennis match is something that all of our different compasses, something that gathers us.
Okay, so that it's fun to be part
It's
in
really
your in your office. Okay, Stoyan, what do you think? What is a company ritual that you at Dreamix do and you enjoy very much?
We have many, and they're changing, because when you grow, it's one thing to grow in an environment where everyone is in the office. It's different thing when you grow with people over the world or over Bulgaria, let's say, and you don't meet face to face. So we have many of these things. For example, maybe one of the oldest that is now working only for the ones that are coming to the offices. We have these alcoholics every Friday. And it is not organized by me or by someone else. It's organized by different people all the time. And of course, by growing, you're always constantly asking yourself how to build this and instill this type of culture and environment in the new people that are coming that you've never worked with before. So just to mention, only this year, in the last 6 months, we did 2 new things. The first one is every last Friday of the month I'm doing like a CEO talk in front of the entire organization, speaking about a certain topic. And before this, everyone can, ask their questions, send the questions, and also ask them live. And something else, because as I mentioned, it's very important who you hire. And when you say this, then you have to really prove it by deeds. So being even the CEO now, every last, I think it was Tuesday of the month, I'm doing an onboarding, personal onboarding of everyone that have started in the organization during this month. So for me it's still super important who joins, so that I can also see the people, so that they know me also personally, and also that I can, how to say, instill the energy that I'm personally having, and the motivation and the all these things that are driving me into these new people, because in the big organizations some of the people never meet the executives or the founders or the CEO or whatever, and this is really changing the culture from inside out, from the bottom up, and this should not be, this in my opinion is not something good. You should be still heavily involved in this culture. You should not be this person that is somewhere on top and no one can reach it.
Very interesting about the personal onboarding. I have to say I've never heard this before, especially in big organizations where you have 200, 300 people and you have to hire like very heavily. But I like that. Are you open to share some of your mistakes along the way, in I don't know, handling different situations when it comes to company cultures? Teodora?
Yeah, I would like just to add, talking about bad habits, at work. One of ours is just like everyone is just adopting this culture, bringing candies and sweets to the HR room, which is really bad for us. I mean, I prefer, bringing whiskey or wine or whatever else, but like this culture is just multiplying now. It's almost every single day. So it's really funny. But talking about our mistakes, I can share one of my, maybe not the biggest mistake, but maybe downfall for me. I'm always, I really believe that the HR should be data driven. I mean, it's not just, just feel in the air or just I feel it and so I will do this. No, you need the data. But when you are just digging in, only in the data, you are missing the real part, the people. So we had this example before a couple of years in one of our IT organization when we really, due to, to the management decisions, we went to these surveys, data, gathering feedback, and we really didn't talk to people. And we just saw that we are missing something, and it's just, again, we are missing the relationship because we are human beings and we are social animals. So we really need this interaction between managers and people. And you cannot just address, for example, everything in numbers. So again, I truly believe now that usually now I'm the opposite. I'm just avoiding numbers. I'm just trying to, to feel the vibe. And again, we need to measure it anyway because it's almost impossible now. HR is totally data driven. We are using many softwares and everything to enhance the productivity and the effectiveness of the processes within the organization. But again, it's quite important. It's very, it's really nice when you see people coming to the office and just talking to us. We have days in which we can't really work, because after 2 years working from home, now there is the other trend. Oh, I miss the office. I will come. I will have coffee. We will have chat. And I'm like, oh, I really didn't work today. It's like, I mean, I really need to stay at home in order to work, which is, really funny in the end. So,
okay, thank you. Stoyan, do you have a lesson learned, so to say, in your experience on what not to do?
So I have many, because I have been through many different roles. I have also been successful and also not so successful in also other different endeavors. So I have learned a lot, but what I can say is that because I'm very passionate about what I do and I'm very emotional in many of the cases about what I'm doing, and sometimes with the people that are closest to me in network, friends, because I'm like, okay, I have some of them, these emotions sometimes can be not so, I don't know, well accepted, or but you're not doing it with a bad intention. But I start to feel it in this type of things, because when you're always on on having challenges, you know, at work. I have 3 kids also, you know, all these type of things. Then somehow you may feel that not everyone is at your energy level at this moment or whatever, and sometimes you may rush things, but it's better. So how I can explain this? Sometimes you wanna do something very fast, but it's more important not to do it fast or even in the correct way, but maybe to do it slower, so that everyone is aligned during the process about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something also that I have learned. And I'm very lucky that I have a lot of people around me at work, in my life, that I can learn a lot. So
it's
yeah.
about adjusting yourself to the pace of the whole team, so to say.
Somehow,
sometimes.
yes, and also sometimes it's not the result that it's important, but it's the process that is more important.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay. Mina, what is your no-go when it comes to company culture?
By the way, I want to share my mistake is the opposite to Theodora, because I'm super emotional person and my emotions are driven and it's a big problem when it comes to HR. It's nice to have it. It's nice because I want to have this personal relationship with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's impossible, as we know, and sometimes we have to see the numbers as well. And my biggest mistake is that I have to step back and says to me, like, Mina, listen, your emotions should be down and you have to look the performance, you have to look the numbers. There is no only emotions in HR.
Okay. I think it's about time to include the audience in our conversation. So people here, the floor is yours. Do you have any questions for our panelists? Okay. Eli, can you help?
Definitely, just raise your hand.
One. Does it work? I guess so. Thank you very much for that discussion. It is very fruitful, and I see a result because I'm not on HR. I'm not anything related to recruitment or company culture, but I see it very beneficial. So you just scratched the surface of that topic. I want to hear your thoughts on the remote working. And my question is remote working a perk or a must already?
Is this a question for everyone?
Yes, or
Okay.
whoever you decide may answer.
Okay, who would like
Thank you.
to answer first? Teodora?
Is this a perk or a thing that should be, or it's a must? Well, for me personally, I don't believe it's a perk. I truly believe that, everyone should have the ability, to work from wherever they want to do, if, again, the work and the process allows this. So it's this question is related again, as we just mentioned before, with the company culture and the process within the company. If it's fine, of course it's fine. By the way, this was quite interesting topic for me. I investigated many surveys and researches, and I did a survey in our company, and the result is that we are not less productive working from home. But again, here with the note that it depends. For example, for the software developers, it's not a perk. Maybe it's even a benefit because, you are just in your safe environment. It's not so noisy like in most of the offices. So it's something that for me, it's for granted. But maybe it will be difficult, working from home when you are, for example, our front office at the bank, for the customers, because we face it, less people within those organizations, in the customer service sector, you just feel it, there are queues, you're waiting for hours, so it depends again. But this again can be resolved by technology. So
Okay, thank you.
maybe Stoyan can add something here.
Okay, so in my opinion, both are not fine, because I still know companies that are super successful in the software world, even in Bulgaria, one of the most successful companies, that doesn't allow home office, and everyone is working from the office, and this is their culture, and still there are a lot of people that want to apply for the jobs there. So it's not a must for sure if this is the case. Being a perk, I don't know. In my opinion, it's based on the culture. If you allow it, you allow it. If you are not allowing it, it's up to you to figure out what else you can provide so that the people still wanna come more to the office than staying at home. So sorry for answering it in that way. So it's neither like a must nor a perk.
Mina, what is it for you?
I believe it's nice to have. For example, we have, as I said, different companies, and each company has a different standard to home office, which is interesting. And some teams, some companies, they find the best way to be in the office. And I see this in front of me. Their work is amazing, interacting between each other, brainstorming, but other companies, they're really good working remotely. In my personal opinion and my experience, for me, I used to be remote for 2 years, and it was not nice. I mean, when I was in that time, it was really good. Okay, no one can bring me to the office back, but then when I'm in the office now, it's really nice to have people around you, and it's beneficial.
Okay.
And something else that I would like to add, it just reminds me like for the biggest fight before the pandemic, smokers and non-smokers. Like this was the biggest fight, like smokers are spending 2 hours per day outside and we are working instead of them. It was something that I really experienced every single day. You know, as you know, in my HR life, like do something, make a deduction of their salary. You need to forbid people doing this, etc. It's like, again, are you more productive from home? Are you more productive from work? It really depends, because I still see people, for example, in our offices spending like 3 hours per day, you know, sitting on the sun, you know, smoking, drinking coffee, you know, do all that stuff, you know, having lunch for 1.5 hours. So in the end, you are really working for like not more than 2-3 hours. But we don't believe in like this culture.
Okay, thank you. I hope this answered your question. Do you have any other questions? Okay.
Yes, is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for all the discussion. I wanted to ask you about how do you exactly help your employees to further their personal development, and what do you think about like offering courses and offering your employees enough space to grow and chase their interests?
Can I tell my recent example of today? Just before coming here, an employee, he's in sales, and he came to me and said, Mina, I don't feel well. I want to develop my skills. And he started some courses, QA, project management, product owner, and we started like digging in what he wants to do, and we find out that he wants to pursue a career in product development. And then we decided that he's going to sign up for that, and we are going to sponsor his course, and we are going to help him. And I'm a big fan of development employees and grow their skill set. It doesn't matter if it's going to be in the same place or different area.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah. By the way, this is a great question. I'm a big fan of career development. I'm like teaching students for more than 10 years, so this is like must go in my teams. I have many young people. I'm just taking them from the universities, developing their career within the HR field, because I'm teaching HR and leadership, and after that they are just going to other companies and, you know, do their own career development. What I should say about this? So in in our society or in this environment, it's almost impossible because now everyone is just requiring, let's find senior people. I'm just so sick of this request when I hear, let's find senior 10 plus years of experience. There are no more seniors in the IT sector in Bulgaria. Like, there are some, few, and we are just, taking them in a different companies. So what you really need to do is just to develop young people. This should be done, and we are doing it through many ways: mentorship, academies, courses, and etc. And once the company understands that it's more beneficial to find someone who has, let's say, 1 or 2 years of experience and develop them for 2 years instead of looking for senior for 2 years, with probably some technology who are not going really to fit to the requirement of the position. So this is something that it's already done. I mean, this is something that we are urged to do by the industry, because it will be impossible to operate. We are having more and more companies opening here in Bulgaria, IT companies. There are not enough people to satisfy this market. So
Okay.
Stoyan.
Yes. So when you have a growing organization like that, and if your people are growing like that, there will be a hole. And if this hole is allowed for let's say for several years or for too much of a time, the whole organization will sink. So the entire business that we have is based on the growth of each and every one of us in the company. We have two things that we are saying. First, in Dreamix, the sky is the limit. I'm an example of that. So I became part of Dreamix through a Jobs BG, whatever it is, advertisement or whatever. I don't remember it. 10 years ago. So, and now I'm one of the major shareholders in the company, and I'm the CEO. We also have 4 people that have started from juniors and now are shareholders and managers. And the entire thing is that we have learned in the hard way, because we are 16 years old company, and in the last 5 years we are growing like that. In the hard way, we have learned our lessons on how to build the right structure, the right organization, how to grow the people inside so that they can drive the growth of the company. And for example, if we speak about software engineers, everyone has a person who is responsible for his growth. There are like at least once per month one-on-ones with plans that they follow. Then you have all the clubs inside of the organization about different interests. QA, backend, frontend, tech, whatever. Then you can choose a mentor from the inside or from the outside of the organization. So we have more than 10 people that are teaching at the universities. We have our own courses in FEMI here, the university where the computer science is mostly most of the people apply at. So the entire future of the organization is based on the operational excellence, and part of this operational excellence is how you grow the talent, because in the service organizations, the growth is the key, because when you join a project or a partner or a product that you have to develop, if you don't grow, this is super visible, and then the client or the partner on the other side is saying, who is this person, they cannot see you, they cannot understand how can you be there for 3 years and you don't contribute on a much higher level. So the whole thing is based on the growth of the people. And if we don't have this growth in the organization, our company is doomed. This is my frank answer to you.
Thank you very much.
There's also an interesting question online. I'll give you the floor afterwards. How could employers communicate their culture externally without going into cliches? Because, this person is asking, if you open the website or job posts of most companies, it's all very similar. We help each other, we're innovative, many learning and development opportunities, etc. So how do you do that? How do you avoid cliches?
You are avoiding it anyway, because, for example, our employees, they're just ambassadors of the company. I have been the ambassador because I truly believe in the culture, and it's not like you are doing, for example, a quick ad why you are working for this company, etc. You are really sharing with your friends what really what is nice in your company. So this is the marketing of mouth, like people talking about your company is something that you're really expressing. That's why I'm always saying, because currently nowadays the HR, it's very similar and associated to employer branding. In 2022, you cannot be hiding something. You should be transparent. People will know. I mean, their forums, their websites, their everything. So you really need to build a sustainable company, a stable culture, and a really positive culture, because this is what is selling your brand. There is no need, to put, again, I really like this question. There is no need to put these selling words, do marketing materials, having hats, t-shirts. It's fine, fancy, nice, but in the end of the day, this is not something which will attract people in your company.
Okay. Mina, how do you attract people without, we're very innovative and cool.
It was really funny because when I joined the company, we didn't have any values written down or culture, and when I came to in, I was like, okay guys, let's think about it. Let's make some, because I have to written down somewhere to write it down. And I'll come back to what I said in the beginning. It's more like when you feel it. It's really hard to written down because every employer profile of employer looks the same. To be honest, like, okay, not the same, like 90% of the profiles. And as Theodora said, ambassadors and people who work in the company are the ones who are going to transfer what's inside outside. This for me is the best way to attract people, to attract talents, people in your organization to be your ambassador.
Stoyan, how do you differentiate online from all the people, from all the companies looking for people?
Yes, I can say it by, of course, the ambassadors is very important, of course. If the people believe in what you do and if they are, feeling great, they will do it for sure without even pushing them. But giving examples is something else, because I can just give examples from Dreamix, of course, but if you say, for example, that you are contributing to the society, let's say, then you have to say how. And if you cannot give examples, for example, in Dreamix, how we contribute to the tech societies, especially the Java, let's say. We do conferences, we have our own conferences with the speakers and everything. We can show that there is just a website where you can see it would be this October again. You are doing interviews with the most influential people in this sector. Then you have newsletters about it. Then your speakers at events. So you can show so many things that this is making the difference. When you say, as I mentioned before, that you are proactive, give the examples. What does this mean? Have you improved something in the project that you are at for the last 6 months? Have you done something that is out of your comfort zone? Have you go to the client and suggested this can be improved in this and this way, not just to do your day-to-day job? Just give the examples. This is making the difference, in my opinion, because if it's just words, it's just, I don't want to say a bad word, but just
Yeah. Talking about HR and data again. If you really like to measure your company culture, one of the most powerful tools is to follow your factor of recommendation. If your people are recommending people for your organization, if they're attracting their friends, you really made it. This means that they really like the place that they're working, and they're more than happy to attract more people from their inner circle and to share with them this. So for me, this is quite important. When we get this rate and it's like for example increasing, I'm more than happy. I'm so happy when someone comes, oh, I have 1 or 2 friends, can I give you their CVs? And I'm like, always,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the great discussion. I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely attend the other sessions of After Hours. So I have an assumption that for Generation Z, the mission and the values of the company are more important than the perks and, let's say, the salary, the financial benefits. Is that true? And what are your thoughts? Because I'm sure you meet many people who now finish university and graduate and looking for a job.
It's quite interesting because currently nowadays we have more than 3, I would say even 4 generations working in one place, which is really beneficial. I don't believe that, for example, someone is more important because he's young and someone else is more important because he's old or expert. We really like diversity, inclusion, and I really like, teaching from and learning from each other. For me, it was quite impressive, and I had this career because I had the opportunity to learn from really experts in my field when I started my career. So I truly believe that, all the young people that are joining organization, they need to have mentors, they need to have someone. So they're just, again, adapting from this culture. And yeah, I know all the surveys and researchers that there are huge differences between the generations. Me personally, I never struggle communicating with people from different generations. And I'm really communicating with people from, let's say, 4 different generations at work, and they're pretty well together. They're just finding their ways to do it. Yeah,
I would not say that only this generation. I think that currently most of the people that are in the workforce, they want to work in a company that's with purpose, a company that is adding a value to something, and I believe that is the right attitude. And you don't have to look for the money. It's more about what you're going to do and with the team that you're going to do it and what you're going to achieve as a company after that.
Okay, so what I think is that you may be right about the perks, but not for the other thing. And when you have a purpose and a mission, it helps a lot, because as I mentioned, people should have sense of belonging and to feel as part of something bigger that they have an alignment with, and if it's a successful one, so that they also feel accomplished. Not just being accomplished because they have grown to a senior, but because of their organization, that the organization have grown to something successful. But not so sure about the salary though. I think, in my opinion, the people should be well paid.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Another question in the back.
First, thank you for the great insights. It was very interesting. And you talked a lot about the good stuff and what it should be. But what happens when things don't go as planned? For example, if there is a period when people stop believing in your values or feel disappointed for a long period of time, how do you approach such situations?
Okay, this is really a lovely question, because it's related to motivation. And again, I would refer to my, previous talking to the others. The motivation is a process. It's not a static thing. Like, you are not motivated every single day. One day you are quite motivated, on the next one you want to sleep all day. And it's typical. You are a human being. And when you gather all the human beings within the organization, of course, we will affect each other, and we'll have a periods with, less motivation. For me personally, if I'm observing this in my team, I'm just, saying, let's go to lunch or let's do something for 2 hours, just, to refresh the vibes and that, because it's normal. It's impossible to be 24/7, 120% dedicated to work. Again, because everyone is going for different things, in their personal life. And the good thing is somehow you're exchanging energy. There is always one who is really motivated, and after that you are not, and you are, just changing your places. So it will be like that. You never reach the state in your organization where you are having 110% motivated employees, all of them. It's impossible. So it's a common thing. This is my, belief that we are observing this every day.
Agree here, and another thing is personal individual relationships with employees, because if you know your team and your colleagues, you can spot if something is happening, and then you can act on.
in Dreamix, if the company is going bad, what happens is that we don't take our salaries, the management. So yeah, our payment is based on the results of the company. So if the things are going bad, this is what is happening. It's not a joke, but it's something funny. But of course, being a 16 years old company, we have been through ups and downs many times. And what I have seen that works constantly is that when there are bad times, just go in front of the team and speak. You know, be transparent, see what is happening, tell them why is this thing happening. Also be open to them, because sometimes just by being open and honest, they can relate to the pain that you are also feeling, you know, because if you are emotionally attached to the business that you are running, even a single employee leaving the company, I have been through many such times where I couldn't sleep even, you know. So if you are emotionally attached, then all that matters is that to being transparent and open and to be human, not to be just do by the process, you know.
Thank you.
Okay. Whoa, a lot of questions.
I would maybe like to add to her question, how would you fix a toxic culture, for example? And personal opinion, I think usually there is someone or some people who are toxic. So what do you do, or what would be the most important step that you'll take to fix or improve stuff?
It's funny because I'm always saying that a toxic person developing the soft skills within the team, because they need to learn how to communicate with toxic people, because it's part of their work. It's very funny because when you have a young, you know, team, they're just like, oh, she's so toxic and this, and I'm like, welcome, you know, to this world in which you need to work for 40 years, you know, with toxic people, you know, everywhere. But jokes aside, like, of course, you know, the team, they need to feel, you need to investigate this, you need really to, how to say, to reflect their emotions, to have this transparent talk. What I'm personally doing, if there is someone who is really toxic, we are having many conversations with them, you know, giving their feedback. Hopefully they'll understand it right. If not, of course, you know, the worst thing that you can do, you can, you know, part away with this person. Yeah, for sure, because, you know, it's not good even for the person. If toxic, it's not something that you are born with. Maybe this person, for example, is not feeling very well within our organization, which is doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It's not, you know, like it's not their place. So it's better for, you know, both sides to just, for example, to move on with this. This is from me, my personal opinion.
I agree on that as well. A lot of conversation, I would say, a lot of conversation. And sometimes the critical is when your colleague give you a feedback and he's like, stop complaining. You have to, like, I had seen this case when we had a person that is not feeling motivated, and then a colleague next to him said, stop. You're super satisfied with your work, you have good salary, you have like super nice colleagues, nice projects. What's wrong? You have to stop complaining because the problem is not at work, it's somewhere else. And it was really, really beneficial.
So there are two definitions, okay? So if it's a really toxic person, through the years we have learned that speaking it's not working, we just fire. No, I'm not joking. If it's really toxic person, because this toxic person, when you have a good culture, it's very visible and it comes from the people that this person is toxic. Because they say person is not a fit in my team. They are not behaving okay, you know, all these type of things. And this is the right culture. We fire right away. However, there is for 16 years, I'm frank, in the first 10 years we tried to speak, you know, whatever, there was never a result. Maybe it's our bad, but there was never a result, you know, a positive result. So we fire. It's the best for us and for the person. It's very rare in our organization though. But there is one corner case where if this person is somehow of a genius on the professional side, really good at what he or she is doing, and he or she is a bit awkward, but it's not affecting the overall performance of the team, that's tolerable. Okay? If it starts to affect the performance of the team in a bad way, then you fire. Because firing is not something bad. It sets the bar on what is the behavior that you don't tolerate, which is very important in an organization.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Thanks for the insightful conversation. I'm Martin, and I'm a co-founder of a small company in the field of esports and pop culture, basically. And I have a question to Stoyan in particular because of his, let's say, zero to hero story from Jobs BG to CEO of Dreamix, a company that sounds quite nice. So, because we're in a situation where we do different verticals of business, and I would be the happiest person on earth if we managed to, let's say, meet you in a parallel universe where you take ownership of a certain vertical. And so we're seeking people that may assume responsibility, provided we offer sufficient value down the line. So my question to you is, for you to feel comfortable and invest your time and energy in Dreamix, it must have been some sort of a cultural thing that went on for you. So what was it that made you comfortable continuing your trajectory in Dreamix?
I can mention a quote from one of my colleagues in the company who became a partner 2 years ago, and what he said is that if you act like an owner, sooner or later you will become an owner. So this is super important, and in my opinion it's two things. First of all, it's your personality, of course. If I do something, I put all of me there. You know, I don't do something just to do it. I do it because I think it's worth it to do it, okay? But second of all, the lessons that I learned, because I have 3 or 4 failed companies before that. And it's not important what you do, service, product, whatever. It's important with whom you do it. So in my opinion, this is the most valuable lesson. And when you go to somewhere and you see the right match of the values and of the energy and of how much everyone is putting into the success, then you can relate. And if you are also the right personality type, because there will be always people that don't want to push so hard, and it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. This is the choice that they are making. It is okay. If someone is happy, you cannot say what is wrong or right, you know. But if you align with the people, and if you are the type that you push hard, really hard, this is what you're gonna do. This is how you're gonna get people that gonna become owners, let's say, in the business. First of all, you have to look for these traits, and second of all, it's also depending on you and your team currently that are in the company. You know, because if you don't push hard, how can you expect me to push hard? No way. Frankly, no way.
I'm having kind of the opposite problem.
Yeah.
I'm pushing too hard at a level, or at least I perceive it so, that people are not as eager to invest themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, but this may also be demotivating. Because, for example, if you have a family and if you push too hard in the business, but you don't have a happy life with the family, the people may see it and they may say, I don't want to be with you, like you, because I will deteriorate the relationship that I have with my family, let's say. So it's not so straightforward, meaning pushing hard doesn't mean to push stupidly, you know. No, I'm not joking, frankly. I have been in many situations where I have done it stupidly, you know.
Yeah.
So it is not so straightforward to tell you you have to work 24 hours per day. This is bullshit in my opinion also, you know.
Work-life balance.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you for the honest answers. We have 2 more questions from the people online, and then
Okay.
I would suggest to go for drinks, and maybe you can ask your questions in person to our panelists. So Gloria Stancheva is asking, in your opinion, what keeps employees together in a completely remote environment? Furthermore, when employees work in different teams.
In different teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, it depends of the culture of the teams, etc. But what I have been observing in many companies, that although you have those remote working, standards and environment, you are still gathering people within the office for some, social gatherings, like once per week for some, I don't know, having lunch or barbecue or beer or whatever. And I heard from many places that their companies who have been working entirely remotely for those 2.5 years. And imagine or not, people decided to have their own meetings, like they gather within each other. For me, this was a really important lesson, because even if you put people on different places working remotely, they still will strive, and they will ask together at some point. And the good thing is that now they're associating, especially in this company, the office, with really a funny place, with place you are gathering, you are social, you're talking to people. So you can still do this. It's very hard otherwise, because imagine you start working entirely remotely and you have only the PC and you have your pay slip. This is everything which associated you with your company. Which is really hard for the leadership and the HRs to keep this level of motivation.
I know that you don't have a complete remote settings in your companies, but do you want to add something?
Yeah, we have people that are remote, and for me, maintaining a culture exclusively remotely is really hard. In my experience, I believe that you have to do social gathering. You have to meet people, meet people personally and in life, because it will be beneficial for the work. It's really hard for us and for our model to run our business only with remote.
Stoyan, do you want to say something?
Yeah, this is a very good question, and what I can share what we are doing, and what we have seen that it's working is that, first of all, you have to make these people to be able to interact easily between each other outside of the team. So, for example, if you have, I don't know, product owners, these product owners should be able to meet from time to time, between themselves. You should, let's say, make a co-op for the product owners, so that they cannot be just the product owner in this team who is speaking only with the developers, the QAs and the rest, but the product owners can also exchange ideas between themselves. So you have to make a lot of interactions, to happen between these people, so that they can meet with the people outside of the organization. This is very important. And the second and the most and the higher and the biggest challenge for being remote is the flow of information, because being now in a room, if we work all day together, everyone will know what is happening in the organization on a daily basis, but the flow of the information is the highest challenge. And to have this alignment, you should organize your company in a way to be as transparent as possible, include as many people in the meetings that are key for the development of the business, organize tools where they can find the information that they want, all these type of things. Because if you are working remote, and if you want to work remote, put yourself in the shoes of these people. For example, you are in a different city, the office of the company is in Sofia, you are, let's say, in, I don't know, Veliko Trnovo. This person, if he switches his job, he will also work maybe for a company that doesn't have an office in Veliko Trnovo. So this person will still be remote, so nothing will change. What will change is the operational excellence in the organization, how it's organized so that this person feels as part of this organization. This is super key, because this person won't go in the office to change the company to go to the office. No, he will change it if there is no alignment, no transparency, doesn't feel to communicate with the other peers, to learn from many other people, not just from his team. Because if you have a lead, the lead is maybe the most senior person in a team. If this person is isolated and doesn't communicate with the other leads of the teams, sooner or later he will leave, or she will leave.
Okay. And the last question is a very specific one. Are stock options now becoming more attractive benefits for employees?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are many companies that are providing and many companies that are not providing, those perks. And I like this perk because it's a long-term
Mm-hmm.
motivational factor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that by nature you need to develop this company, because if you are investing more, you'll get more in the end.
Mhm.
So I really like it.
Okay, Stoyan, what do you think?
In my experience, frankly, I have been in many cases where the people don't care about the perks, all they care is about salary.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, now this is changing because the people that are the new generation, they're also thinking long term. I'm not saying something bad, but most of the people that are a bit older than me, they think only about the salary as the high that they can get. They don't think long term, And the options is the long term alignment, as Teddy mentioned. So
Mhm.
this is important. For example, in our organization, it was 3 founders. Now there are 9 owners,
Hmm.
in the company. But even now we are creating an option pool to further align the growth of the company. Because if you don't put the right measures when you grow, it also will provide a lot of challenges. So options are, in my opinion, very good, how to say, tool to align with the right people, though. Because in my opinion, options should not be given maybe for free or in such type of things, because there should be alignment that the people want them.
Okay.
I totally agree here. I'm a big fan of that because I believe of this sense of ownership
Mhm.
when you have something like that. Having my own platform, I understood what is to have something own, to have something that you put your energy and you have this ownership in it. And I believe that is a really good way to engage employees. But it doesn't should be given like that. You should earn it in some way.
But
Mhm.
also, I just want to add something here. The options are not the cure if there is misalignment and misengagement.
Mm. Mm.
This is not the cure. It won't
No.
solve the issues that the business is having if there is no alignment, no transparency, the people are not involved, engaged. This giving more money or giving more options, it won't save the company, in my opinion,
Mhm.
from that problems.
Okay. Thank you to our panelists for the lively discussion, and thank you to the audience for contributing to the quality of the discussion. Thank you to our partners again, BICA Services and Dreamix, for making this event happen. Stay tuned for the next one in October. We will announce the topic soon, and in the meanwhile, read the Recursive for cool stories. It was a pleasure. Let's have a drink now, and thank you again.
Thanks for the question.
Zori.
Thank you.
For the moderation.